Okay, so it's finally that time again. It's the monthly Gacha PvP. Now, obviously, if you don't know, the actual Gacha revenue chart that went on for a couple of months has actually been shut down now, but there's many sources that I and other creators can now go to that can pretty much reveal to us what kind of revenue these companies are making and, you know, how well they're doing in terms of banner sales. Now, obviously, I do need to add this kind of disclaimer at the start of the video. A lot of this information isn't 100% accurate. I don't think there's any site out there that could give you 100% accurate information, so remember to take a lot of this information with a grain of salt. I just want to just point that out there. But the website that I'm going to be using today, AppMagic, actually uses Google databases and everything like that, and they don't actually use multipliers that kind of, you know, multiply what they think the Chinese audience would actually make, because again, there's a portion of the Chinese audience, I'm pretty sure it's the Android audience, just because, you know, a lot of people don't use Google Play over there. They use like other stores like Huawei Store, etc., which, you know, gets missed out, which is quite a big part of the revenue. But AppMagic actually doesn't do this. They give you the revenue that they know, and we're going to be taking a look through it all and kind of comparing it to some of the other games at the moment and kind of explaining why the numbers are as they are at the moment. But before I get to this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy it, and also go to Gaming Subs, use my code KAZA where you get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. I definitely recommend going over there. They collab with a ton of creators, so I'm sure one of your favorite creators is on there with a cup at the moment. So yeah, go take a look and get 10% off using my code KAZA. But let's get back into the video. So this is the page for AppMagic. As you can see, this is kind of spoilers for Wuthering Waves, but Wuthering Waves made 5 million in revenue this month. And if we take a look at my previous video for the previous months of Wuthering Waves, they actually made 10 million. So this has actually gone down, which again, a lot of players have been worried about, but honestly, I don't think it's that big of a deal, especially whenever you consider a lot of the context behind it. So as you know, last month we actually had the camellya banner, which was a massive success. There was a ton of people actually spending and actually pulling on that banner, which obviously caused Wuthering Waves to go up to 10 million. Now, obviously, I hope this happens for Rinascita as well, and maybe goes even higher, because again, Carlotta is a very anticipated character, and so is Rocha as well. They're both like combat viable characters that you can use in the game, and it seems like a lot of people are going to be coming over. Now, again, this is only mobile revenue, so God knows what the PC kind of revenue is and what the PS5 revenue is going to be in the future whenever that version comes out. But, you know, it has gone down a little bit, which has people worried. But honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter too much as long as the company is making, you know, a decent amount of money. 5 million is definitely a decent amount of money, which I think a lot of people fail to understand whenever it comes to the revenue. Like, just because it's not making like $20 gajillion doesn't mean that it's not doing good, you know? It's still doing perfectly fine. And the same goes for the downloads as well. We've seen a dip in them. So we went from 500,000 in November to 200,000 in December, which again is to be expected. Obviously, a lot of people are less interested in what's going on in the story. I reckon last month, a lot of people were enticed by the camellya story and some of the big updates that they brought out. Whereas this month, we haven't really had anything. Like, we've had some advertising for Rinascita, but honestly, I do expect this number to go up whenever Rinascita comes out, because it's going to be very interesting to see what the January chart looks like overall. Now, if we go more into the revenue and the downloads and where these people are coming from, well, in the revenue, it seems like the top spenders on mobile at the moment are Japan. Now, obviously, we are missing a bit of Chinese data, so I think that China might actually be on top if you were to add that over. But again, we don't have any clue of like even getting close to what it even is. So again, Japan's at 30% currently with about 1 million, and then China again with 1 million, but a little bit less at 18%. And then next we got the United States, which actually kind of surprised me. They've been spending quite a bit. Then we got South Korea. Then we got some other countries as well from, you know, assorted regions and everything like that. Now, obviously, Japan kind of surprised me. Obviously, they've been stepping up a lot of the advertising over there. So I feel like this is, you know, kind of helped them out. And the same goes for South Korea as well. I think last time, whenever we looked at this, South Korea was much... Oh, no, they were at 20%. Okay, that's pretty good. I think the South Korea was a little bit smaller, though, in previous kind of months. But it seems like they've stepped up a lot of their marketing over there, which is great to see. And it is helping them in terms of revenue. Now, obviously, that doesn't equate to, you know, the popularity and which kind of region the game is most popular, because again, that's just the revenue. If we go to the downloads, we can see that China is actually at the top with 50,000, then United States, then Japan, and then, you know, all these other smaller countries as well. So again, I think that is great. And this kind of shows that the United States don't spend as much, but they do download the game quite often. And we see this every time with this revenue chart, is that the United States, they're more free-to-play players, but there's more people actually playing the game, which is great to see. And we did see that kind of trend on some of the older Gacha revenue charts as well, with the global version of the game sometimes even making more than the Chinese version, which is kind of unheard of for a Gacha game, unless they kind of release it globally altogether. But, you know, it's great to see that they are kind of catering towards this Western side as well. Now, let's take a look at some of the competitors. We have this competitors tab to show us how well other games are doing. Now, obviously, as I said, Wuthering Waves is probably around about 5 million, just because, you know, we've had some reruns and nothing has really gone on in the game. So that's what you're to expect. expect whenever you're not really doing much to actually provoke people to spend money. Now, obviously, we keep going down to competitors like Zenless Zero, who had their soft relaunch recently. This one's telling me 20 million. Again, a lot of this, they're missing out some of the Chinese data, so it's probably going to be higher. All of these numbers are probably going to be higher. But Zenless Zero made 20 million, and so did Genshin Impact, which again is great to see. And it seems like Zenless Zero also got 1 million downloads, which means a lot of people are coming back for this soft relaunch, which they pretty much advertised as. As I said, I saw a Giguk video where he pretty much did a sponsorship for them, and he called it a soft launch. So it seems like they are telling him to do that. So again, that is really, really cool to see that that's gone very well for them. And obviously, you know, Genshin Impact always does good. They had some pretty good banners recently with Chaska, everything like that. So, you know, you can see why that is doing so good. Bunko Star as well, also doing very, very good. We had the release of Tingyun Fug, or whatever you want to call her. But again, she is very cool. I actually went and pulled her as well. So I can see why this has made 20 million as well. So it seems like a lot of these games are doing very similar. Now, obviously, if you were to go onto the old Gacha chart or something, these might be different by a couple of like million. Like maybe that was 23, that one's like 28 or something like that. These are all just like in the around about 20 million category, which again is pretty good to see. And then we got Nikkei. Obviously, it's dropped a bit of money because it's no longer the anniversary, but they're still making 10 million, which is absolutely amazing. And I think they're doing really, really good. Again, that's a game that I really enjoy playing every now and again. And yeah, that's pretty much most of them in this category. I just wanted to like talk about the ones that are most relevant to Wuthering Waves and the ones that, you know, kind of have been talked about in the same kind of topics as Wuthering Waves. But honestly, I think it is nothing to be scared about. I know there's a lot of people that, you know, do get genuinely scared of this revenue thing. It's really not a big deal. And I think people do make too much of a big deal of the revenue. You know, it doesn't really matter what a company is making as long as they're making enough to survive. And as we've seen with like Solon and everything like that, they just said they want to make a good game and the revenue doesn't matter too much to them. So honestly, I think, you know, it's going to be fine. And obviously with the recent stuff with Tencent as well, acquiring more shares, they're going to get more money from that. So I don't think, you know, you should be worrying about their monetary issues at all. It'll be fine. It'll be all good. But yeah, as I said, Rinascita is coming out very, very soon. So I'm going to be excited to see whether this revenue is going to go up. Obviously we hit 10 million with Camellya, but I wonder if we can hit the kind of 50 million or 20 million mark, because that would be really cool. You know, having that amount of money under Wuthering Waves' belt would be really, really cool. And, you know, it would kind of remind us of version 1.0 whenever we had that massive, massive boost. So yeah, maybe we'll see some more coming out in the future. And let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Do you think this is pretty acceptable for Wuthering Waves? Because honestly, I think it is. I think it's fine. And let's be real, we're missing out some Chinese data, we're missing out PC data and everything like that, which means that this is probably going to be closer to like 10 million, 15 million even. So again, I think that's pretty good, especially for mobile. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.